Welkom bij een nieuwe aflevering van de Data Discovery Channel. And I'll switch to English because our next guest, and I'm proud that you're here, is Matthew Roche.
Great. Well, thank you very much for having me. It's my pleasure.
Well, it's our pleasure as well because, you're well known in the community. You're a program manager in the Fabric team.
Yep, I've been at Microsoft for 17 years this week and have been working on Fabric since we introduced it. Been working on the Power BI team since 2018, which sort of evolved into Fabric.
Yeah. So you only missed the first 3 years of Power BI.
Yeah, I was a user, so I was already at Microsoft, already building product at that point. So I was part of the internal group learning Power BI early, but I joined the Power BI customer advisory team in 2018, kind of helping the product team better learn from the customers that are working with Power BI and Fabric and other Azure data tools so that we can make our products better for their needs.
Okay, well, interesting.
Yeah.
When I think back of Power BI, and I not accidentally mentioned that it exists for 10 years now, and I remember 10 years ago it was very, very easy to use. I don't know what the slogan was, but you didn't have a right mouse button. Do you know the slogan?
It was 5 seconds to get started, 5 minutes to wow.
Exactly. Well, yeah.
You still know it, yeah.
Well, that's in a lot of ways, that's the philosophy of a successful SaaS product.
Yeah.
Because you need to meet any user where they are, so it needs to be really obvious. They shouldn't need to give a credit card or sign in 100 times. They should be able to open a browser window and have it be obvious what they do next.
Yeah.
And they should be able to see real value. They should be able to build something very quickly. And it's not always literally 5 minutes, but it needs to be wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's still wow.
Yeah.
But I think we can also agree that it's grown more complex.
Yeah. Well, so yes, we can definitely agree there. Yeah. A lot of what building a successful SaaS product is understanding what's important and understanding who your users are and who your customers are. So for Power BI at the beginning, a lot of those capabilities back in 2018 and 2019, they were for individual analysts. So you had a business department to run or you had a job to do, and Power BI allowed you to connect to your data wherever it was and do your own analysis and your own visualization.
Yeah.
But when we went from delighting the user to delighting the team to the group to the org to the entire enterprise, complexity is in many ways a natural side effect of that.
Yeah.
But if you think about Power BI today, and then think about what would you have done 10 years ago to do the things that you could do in Power BI today, Power BI is still pretty simple compared to the suite of tools that you would have needed before.
Yeah. And where particularly do you see that simplicity?
So a lot of the simplicity comes down to the unification of tools and their fitness for purpose. And I know that you haven't asked about Fabric yet, but it feels like we're getting into Fabric territory. Because Fabric,
there's no other way, right?
Yeah. So when we're talking about Power BI today, actually, so let me rewind a couple years and tell my version of that story.
Yeah, please.
Because think about Power BI as a multi-tool SaaS service. So Power BI as a cloud service includes fundamental capabilities like workspaces that have permission models and containership. It's like the structure for your work. It has navigation. It has security concepts like groups and permissions and so on. And Power BI, even before we started introducing Fabric, it included multiple related but different capabilities. There was data ingestion, there was data modeling, there was data analysis, there was data visualization in a variety of different ways with reports and dashboards and paginated reports and streaming things. And with Fabric, Microsoft has essentially taken that investment in the underlying platform, like that cloud service that the different parts of Power BI ran on top of, and has made this more robust and capable. So part of it is better support for a wider variety of things running on top of it, which we'll probably circle back to. but also expanding out the platform so that it includes OneLake. So like the marketing line is it's like OneDrive for your data.
Yeah.
But it's like the built-in place where you can put all your stuff. Where in a Power BI solution back in the day, if you had like your source files or an intermediate step of the data that you are processing somewhere, it was kind of up to you in each solution, like each user in each solution, to figure out where do I store this and how do I manage it and how do I secure it. OneLake in that platform, you've got a central location for both file-based data, so unstructured, semi-structured, or structured files, but also for table data, because you can build the delta tables on top of the files. So you've got this like a place for all your stuff. And then while the platform has been evolving in multiple ways, so OneLake is to me the biggest part, we've also brought in a lot of core analytics and data capabilities that have previously lived in Azure and elsewhere. So we've got data warehouse, we've got data lakehouse, we've got notebooks, we've got real-time streaming, we've got the orchestration and data ingestion that you would previously go to Azure Data Factory for. It now lives natively inside Fabric and in your workspaces, as well as operational databases, including SQL, and we've just announced Cosmos as well. So from a simplicity perspective, there's now this gigantic menu that's available.
Yeah.
And I think the simple part is when you know what it is that you need to work with, it's in a list in a menu in your workspace. Like, I want a new lakehouse. I want a new SQL database.
That's the idea, yeah.
But if we circle to the complexity is that for a lot of those core people that like they're building their semantic models and their reports in Power BI, when they go to that drop-down list, it gets longer every month. It's not always clear to every business user where they should start.
Is that because you're working in the customer advisory team? Is that the biggest complaint? I wouldn't call it complaint, but is that the biggest concern? Or
Definitely not. So a lot of what the customer advisory team or CAT team at Microsoft does, we're helping some of the biggest customers in the world implement like these complex enterprise world scale solutions using Fabric. So a lot of what we hear from those teams that are building the production like petabyte scale solutions, like they're really pushing the state of the art. But a lot of what I do and what my team does as part of the CAT team is we're trying to listen to more and more of the specific individual users. You know, could be an analyst, could be a developer, could be someone who only ever reads reports and would never even think of building a report themselves. But we try to listen to as many different people as we can so that we're not putting on the enterprise blinders. And for me personally, I see so many of the technical leaders and really technical people at Microsoft, when they introduce Fabric, and I kind of fell into this trap a couple minutes ago. Like, you want to talk about all the things because we built something amazing.
There's so much to offer,
But sometimes when you talk about everything, people get overwhelmed and they miss the thing that they need. So like my talk today, and like the thing that we're kind of leading up to, it seems, my talk today was about how for those users in Fabric, you don't need to know everything. You don't need to use everything, but Fabric has a lot of the very simple tools that a Power BI user can find, learn, and apply today or this week without needing to learn everything, because it is a SaaS platform, because that 5 minutes to wow is still possible.
Well, okay, good to hear. So basically you start by what do you want to do, or what's my role, or and that should already simplify the usage for those kind of users.
That should already narrow the options down, so to say, because not everything is relevant. But the trick is to determine, well, which capabilities are relevant, of course.
Yeah, and if you're a Power BI user today, let's say that you're an operations director and you've built a semantic model and a set of reports for your team.
Yeah.
You went in to build that thing with a problem in mind. You basically, like, you're grounded in your own personal problem domain, and the more that you worked with Power BI, the more that you learned the capabilities of the tool.
Yeah.
But also the more that you started to think about what was possible through the lens and through the limitations or the capabilities of that tool. So what I would say to someone in that situation, like, go back to the original problem that you were trying to solve. There was probably something that wasn't really obvious, or a place where you needed to compromise and to take your idea of what you wanted to build and reframe it in the capabilities of the tool. Because Fabric opens more doors. It's got more easily accessible SaaS tools than Power BI did. And in my personal experience, so this is like my session today was presenting a pet project that I use, because I don't get to build real data solutions anymore. So I've got
you got your pet project.
Yeah. So I've got my pet project, and I see this in a lot of user conversations as well. But the things that feel most accessible to me, those parts of Fabric that every Power BI user could use today. So the first one is Data Factory, and both the data flows and pipelines in Data Factory.
Yeah.
Because with a data flow or other Power Query in Power BI, you're landing data into a place to build your semantic model on top of. But with data flows Gen 2 in Fabric, it's the same Power Query experience, but you can land that data into OneLake as a delta table that you can then reuse anywhere.
Yeah.
So you copy and you paste, or you build the query if it's a new one, but you get a lot more, like a much greater return on your investment. And then with pipelines, it's this graphical orchestration tool with a whole bunch of data-centric activities. So a lot of the things that I always wanted to be able to do in Power BI or in Power Query were things that I used to have in SQL Server integration services way back in the day with control flow. So the pipeline is basically your control flow surface where you can orchestrate out sequential tasks or looping or branching. So I might pull a file from an FTP server, wait until that's done, then unzip it to put the contents of the archive into OneLake, and then have a Power Query or a notebook, which is going to be the next thing, that works with that data to do downstream processing. And the pipeline basically gives any end user a really simple graphical way to say, do this thing, and then this thing, and then this thing, and if it fails, do this other thing instead.
So if you look at it, it makes sense.
And it's just like getting back to why was Power BI so simple in the beginning. It's obvious what it does, and it allows you to very quickly do a thing that you need. And if you've got your existing project, like I've got my pet project, but you have a thing that you've already built, there's probably the need for that type of control flow. Look for that, and the first step, update your workspace to include that orchestration so that pre-processing or post-processing, it's automatic and you don't need to have the reminder on your calendar every day because you can just schedule it.
Okay. So overwhelming initially, maybe, but still simple to use.
And if you have a problem to solve, the beautiful thing about human learning, if I give you a bunch of information, you're gonna lose 90% of it. If I tell you something in the context of a thing that you already know, or give you information in the context of solving a problem that you already have, you're going to retain much more of it, and you'll be able to apply it right away without needing to learn everything. So it's a perfect context.
So true.
Incremental learning.
Okay. Matthew, thank you very much. It's getting noisy out here, so that's a good point to end our conversation.
Awesome.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for being here. En aan de kijkers, als je dit een leuke aflevering vond, like hem even. Abonneer je op het kanaal als je dat nog niet gedaan hebt. En tot de volgende.